Hi, this is Dad speaking. And here it is Sunday afternoon. Dave took off this morning about 9:30 for LA, and Tess, the kids went along with him. And it's rather quiet around there now. He should be just about back there by this time, I believe. We've had some rather hot weather for the last few days, but today it cooled off. A nice cool breeze blowing. And I just took Sam for a walk, which he always enjoys. He had a lot of attention when everybody was here, the kids made a fuss over him, and he petted him and curried him all day long almost. Our school started here the day after Labor Day, so things are sort of back to school year again. Over there, you're right in the middle of the school year, Well, Michelle, next time send a tape, you tell me all about your school, and Janine too. I like to hear those things. Rich, have you been catching any fish lately? I'd like to hear about that too, or your fishing trips and the fish you catch. Pat was going to go Sunday, but just on their line to hold it down, so they're going. The boat is going along pretty good motion. I guess when they have their bait out, they have a big heavy sinker to hold it down. If they get a fish pulls hard, and there's something on the line that lets the sinker go, and they always lose their sinker when they're pulling their fish in because they can't reel the sinker in and the fish at the same time around the reel. I guess that's the way it is. If the fish are biting, it takes a lot of sinkers, I guess. Well, Mom wants to talk a bit, so I'll sign off.
Hi, we are all well. We had a nice visit with Dave and family. Matt really enjoyed watching the fire trucks go out, and that would happen every day. What a quick dash out the front door he would make. I made that meat dish recipe you gave me for the gang, and it sure went over big. Of course, with such a big gang, I used 2 casserole dishes, and must say, not too much was left over. Dad mentioned about the place we would like to get. It's so quiet around there, with a nice view of the hills. Of course, the house needs some fixing up, but that's what Dad was looking for, a place to keep him busy with while retiring. The people that are renting it now didn't believe in caring for the yard, but that's the way it goes when rented out. So if we do get it, Dad will be busy for some time. Tom's wrecked car is still in our driveway. He has had a guy that intends to buy it within a few weeks, at least he told him then. Ah, as you can hear, I've written this on paper and I've made mistakes even if I write it on paper. So you'll have to excuse me this time. As I mentioned about Tom's car, well, the guy would buy it, but there's one little catch. He doesn't have the money at present. It sure would be nice to have it gone. I just hate looking at it. Dad has it covered with a canvas. Tom is asking $550. The motor and transmission are in good condition. It has a lot of power, just what the young guys want. Well, now that school is started, it's back to picking up leftovers that the kids don't finish at lunchtime. So Dad has a little more extra work now. Sam really had a nice time while Dave was here. Every day almost a morning walk to the park. Just as soon as Dave got up, he was followed around by a little four-legged shadow. I don't think he was hugged and squeezed so much as he has been by Brian and Neil. They sure love dogs. But Teresa Seeing Teresa lives in an apartment, they aren't allowed to have one. Well, I will keep on adding to this tape as I think of some more news. We received a letter from Cindy. Their trip back to L.A. was safe. As she mentioned about getting a puppy free from the flea market, it really is a cute puppy, but a female. Cindy said the first time they heard it bark was when they got home, and it came face to face with her two cats. She started to run up to them. They took off, and they didn't see them for a couple of hours. Now, though, they're actually getting within a foot of each other, following, of course, by a big hiss and spat. The puppy has been scratched a couple of times. I'm glad they have a puppy for the kids. There'll be a lot of fun playing with it. Cats aren't so playful. Well, I'd better stop, as Tom still hasn't said anything, and Dad has some juicy news on his mind to send to you. So with all my love and God's blessing on you all, Rich, Marima, Michelle, Janine, and dear Mrs. March. Bye, and a big kiss to all. Hi, I must tell you what happened at church this morning. Father was celebrating Mass. All of a sudden, we heard this little dog whining. So Dad went out to see what it was. And then this owner of the dog, he went out, and then for a while things were quiet, no noise. And the owner come in, and everything was fine. All of a sudden, the dog starts whining. And the guy hollers out, "Be quiet out there!" Really, it was a surprise and shock to us all. And after Mass, I was walking out in the entrance of the church. This guy had this little poodle tied up to the table leg. And he says to the dog, he says, "Now you know you're supposed to be quiet in church," as if a dog knows that he's in church. But it really was funny. We had to laugh when we come back.
Well, hello, everyone. It's Friday, September 26th, and now I've got the whole weekend to look forward to. Tomorrow I'm gonna finish working on my boat. I pulled the heads off and ground the valves. The next thing I have to do to it is refiberglass the bottom, because last time we went out, Pat took his boat and I took my boat, and we went to Woodward Reservoir. Dave and his family went along. We had a pretty good time there. The weather was nice, but the wind blew and got the lake a little choppy. Didn't water ski much because of that. Anyway, when I pulled the boat out to go home, I looked underneath and I seen that all the fiberglass had cracked and fell off. So now I'm just gonna sort of touch it up a little bit with some new fiberglass, and then I'll be ready to go again. But the only trouble is winter's coming. I'm trying to sell a Roadrunner, but nobody wants to buy it. It seems like I've had it in the paper since Tuesday and nobody's came to look at it. I have a couple of guys that might stop by tomorrow, so I'll see what happens then. If I can't sell it, I'll just have to buy some parts at a wrecking yard and fix it up. I'm starting to look for a new job now. I got a little tired of the old one, so perhaps I can find something around Hayward that's a little closer to home. It'll be interesting. New things to learn about the computer. Eventually I'll be the manager of my own data processing shop. That pays pretty good money. How's school, Michelle and Janine? Once I look back on it, I kind of wish I was back in school, because those days were pretty good. Didn't have many worries, only homework, schoolwork. Now, things have got a little more complicated. How's work, Rich? Is the unemployment rate still 0 in New Zealand? How are you, Mara, and your mother? Hope you're both fine. Well, I'll sign off for now. I'm gonna go home and cut my lawn, so take care, everyone. Hi, Rich, Marima, Michelle and Janine, Mrs. Marsh. This is Louie. My garden didn't do too well this year because the weather was funny. First, we had frost up till May, and a lot of stuff when it came up, it froze and it just got stunted. And I did plant quite a bit of stuff during the last couple of weeks here that will grow through the winter where it doesn't freeze too much, too hard, I mean. Like peas and certain things will grow, they'll stand a little frost, so I planted quite a few different things. I hope it does better than other things I had this summer. And I went today and got a load of manure and put on the garden, so that ought to help pretty good. And my family's doing pretty well. Melinda's got a cold right now, but she's getting teeth, I guess, which makes her nose run and whatnot. But otherwise, we're doing pretty good. I still haven't got my room done yet. I haven't been doing much on it. I've had too many other things going, and I got my final inspection, which is all I was really after, because once I get that, I can take my time the rest of it. I'll let somebody else talk now. Well, see you guys on the next tape. Bye.
You can probably hear all the chaos going on around here with all these kids fighting. We got, let's see, there's Brian and Neil and Rodney and Matthew and Jennifer and Timmy, and there's a lot of humbug going on here. we all come over to Ma's tonight, and we had a little party for Marge and for Bill. Their birthdays are about a week apart, and we had cake and ice cream and stuff, and all the kids are all wound up yet, so they're making all the noise, and we're trying to get a tape going, but we've got people trying to hold the kids down and the people trying to talk, and Cindy wrote you a letter. It'll probably get there before the tape does. I don't know.
You wrote me a letter?
Louie and Pat are fighting with Tom. Now we got little kids and big kids going. We got to stop here for a second. Well, we broke up the rumble. Now Cindy's coming over. She's going to talk for a second. Here she is.
Hello, everyone.
Right there, that's the microphone, right in there.
This thing is weird. It's like talking to a box.
That's the thing Rich gave me.
You got
No,
to
anyway,
get the whole thing.
Everything else has been said.
No, talk about it.
I wrote you guys a long letter, and I told you all the things we did on our vacation.
I already told them that.
You told them about my letter?
No, keep talking.
You lying
Go ahead,
there,
keep
Cindy.
talking. Keep talking. Talk about anything.
Cindy was out in the camper messing around this afternoon. She lost the camper keys and took about maybe an hour to find the keys, and after she found the keys, she lost the camper.
Is this the one?
Yeah, keep talking.
Everybody is getting very silly, as you can see, because we're all tired because we had a rough weekend.
Tell me about your party last night at Tom.
I have to tell you about our party. Rita and Fan and I decided to go out in the town last night because Dave was sleeping and Pat was in a bad mood and he took off. And
Massage and fishing fish, they did.
so we went over to the Club 40 and we ran into Tom and his girl and a couple of his friends over there. And we're sitting there drinking and having a good time and dancing, and then we went over to Tom's house afterwards, and we just sat there and drank and talked and danced and drank and talked and danced. And finally decided to leave about 5 o'clock in the morning. Pat missed his fishing trip because Rita didn't get home at 4:30 so he could go fishing. I greeted Marge at the door when she was going out to work. And, yeah, about 4:45 in the morning, Paul wakes up and realizes that Fran isn't here and her car is not outside. And he panics and takes off in his pajamas and goes down to Pat's house and sees if Fran is there. And I guess he's about ready to call the police, thinking she might be in jail or something. And finally, we end up coming home. So we had quite an exciting weekend up here. We had a good vacation. When I got home, the girl that drove Rita and I home, we get in front of Marge's house, and her battery's dead. So then I had to go in and get Dave out of bed, 5:30 in the morning, and he jumped her car, and he had to go back to bed. And it was quite a weird night, I tell you. I don't think I can talk any longer. Uncle Tom, it has all the kids on the floor, and he's wrestling with them and carrying on. I guess you can hear all this. I just took the tape recorder over to the big brawl, and they all shut up. Well, I'm gonna say good night. We're heading back tomorrow, and I think Terry and her kids will be driving back with us. With our dogs, we'll have quite a camper full. Here, Rita's going to say a brief hello. We'll see you guys pretty soon. You'll be getting my letter soon, too. So take care. I hope everyone is very well. Bye-bye.
Hi, Uncle Rich. How are you doing today?
Introduce yourself.
No, are you going to bed tonight?
Oh, you got to know this is Matthew. I'm sure you haven't forgotten him. Matthew, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hi, Rich, Marima, Janine, and Michelle. This is Rita. I hope you got our letter that we mailed with Rich's birthday card. I'm back to work now. They started school September 2nd, and I work from 8:30 to 12 with grades 2, 4, and 5. And I also took yard duty this year. So when I get off from teaching in school, I have to go out for a half hour on yard duty. And I won't get done till 12:30 then. And I also got stuck on the PTA meeting. And I am the tuition chairman. My job is to make sure that the parents pay up on time for the tuition in a Catholic school. It's quite an easy job, but I'll be attending meetings once a month. Well, I wish everybody the best, and I'll be saying goodbye. I'll be signing off. Goodbye.
Well, I gotta go take the kids over to Tom's house and put them to bed. So, well, you're coming too. I'll sign off now. So, Ma and Fran and Terry and Pa and the rest of them can finish it up. This is Dave signing off, and take care. And I hope your shingles and everything are well, Rich. And we'll see you when we see you, and we'll make another tape soon. And goodbye for now.
It's on right now? Oh, this is Teresa recording right now. We're all here again except tonight we said here we all are, and Rich and Marima and the girls should be here. And I think you ought to move back. Anyway, we've had a loud, boisterous, wild family get-together. It was Bill's birthday and Marge's birthday, so we had a little cake and celebrated, and all the cousins got together and got into various fights throughout the day, but it's been a pretty good day. I had 6 days off from work, and I've spent it up here with Fan in Santa Cruz and then now in Haywood, so it's been really a nice vacation and a good change from Los Angeles. Hey, Pat, what do I press to stop it? Just one moment. Okay, I'm back again for a little while. Nothing too much is new with me. I'm still working at the same hospital. I'm still working 3 to 11. I'm still being kept very, very busy. And Gina's still working out in Pasadena and driving quite a long ways every day. Everybody just left, so now I'm resuming this a little bit. When this entire family gets together, it is one wild houseful, I'll tell you. There's just a lot of action now that the kids are growing up bigger. They're not little babies that you can sit in the corner. They're just all over the place. And they go out in Grandpa's backyard and build all kinds of weird constructions and are busy out there all the time. And they've really had a good time. This is Brian. He's going to tell you what he made in the backyard.
We made an oil pump with a pipe going down into the ground.
Grandpa's going to be happy. I didn't know about that. They probably struck oil. Go ahead and finish telling about it.
And we saw little things like that, and it looked like greasy oil. We put it on our hands and it stayed there, so we thought we were getting up oil, and the next thing we know, we have a whole pot full of it.
Now, I didn't know that was happening in the backyard. We might all end up very wealthy. Just a minute. Here's Neil.
Hello.
Neil is at the age where he doesn't like to talk very much. He just likes to act a little bit silly, so. Okay, just a minute. Say something, Nathan. Say about what you did here.
We played.
I think he wants to tell you about his ride on the roller coaster.
Oh, scary. You know what? I almost fell off. When we went down to each hill, I was higher than any person. Bye-bye.
They had to go on the roller coaster at Santa Cruz, and I didn't want to go, but I got talked into it and kept my eyes closed and my head bent down all the while, and I felt as though I got a whiplash. To think that you have to pay money to be tortured like that is beyond me, but Fan went too. The kids really enjoyed it. Just a minute. Well, I've got to get the boys in bed now, so I think I'll sign off for now. And hope that we hear from you pretty soon via tape or via reading the letters here that you send to Mom. Anyway, I hope everything's going well with you now, and I hope you're better, Rich. And goodbye for now.
Hello, this is Fan, and it's my turn. I don't know how much tape is left on here, but everybody's gone. Dave and Teresa and the kids and Cindy took off about an hour ago, heading back to L.A., and I'm leaving very shortly to go back to Santa Cruz. So everything is quiet around here again. I wanted to finish up the tape, while everybody was together. So anyway, let's see. I don't know what other people have told you because I haven't listened through the tape, but I'm sure they explained about the family being together and what's happening up here. Yeah, and the puppy and this and that. Cindy and Dave got a new puppy, and the kids really like it. It's a really cute one. They haven't named it yet. I sort of named it 5 different things, but I don't know what they'll decide to finally call it. And there's a begonia festival in Santa Cruz today is why I want to go back. It's an annual thing that they hold down there, and people come from all over California. Well, people that are interested in that type of flower show, but come from all over California to see it. And they have floats they make out of flowers and float them down the river, and music, and it's sort of almost like a festival there. So I sort of want to get back and see what that's like. Yeah, it's not going to be too sunny there today, though. It's sort of cold along the coastline. It's supposed to be about 80 in Hayward, but the coastline stays relatively mild and sometimes even cold throughout summer. Like I said, would be in the mid-60s, and that's not too hot when there's a breeze blowing, but we will see. It should be quite pleasant anyhow. And I drove my car up here from Santa Cruz with Teresa and the boys, and we stopped off on you went to Big Basin, I think, when you were here, So you remember it as being really a nice park, and I hadn't seen it, and Teresa hadn't seen it either. So we decided, for the boys and whatnot, we'd take a picnic and drive through, and on our way up to Hayward, and we got in there. My car, I don't know if you did. I don't think I had my car here when. No, I didn't. I've got a 1960 Chevrolet Bel Air, and it's really sort of a wide, big car, and those roads are so narrow, and we kept thinking we were going to go over the edge, and a couple of times we came pretty close to going over the edge, like you're going along and you can't see traffic coming the opposite way, and to try to avoid different cars, you sort of swerve out of the way. Anyway, we got into the park. We got to the bottom, the headquarters, the park place where they have little shops and information booths and stuff, and our car was boiling, and so we let it cool off, and we filled it with water again. I thought, well, maybe it was just that the car wasn't used to going along all those hills, and maybe the high altitude, and it was sort of hot and stuff. So we sightseed, we had our picnic, and walked around some of the paths and stuff, and we started back to go over the hills back into Saratoga to come up to Hayward, and we got about 10 miles out of the headquarters place, the information place, and the car was boiling so hot. It was all the water had boiled out, and it was smoking and stuff, and so we had to pull over to the side, and there wasn't anything around. We didn't know what to do. We just sort of sat there, and we knew we shouldn't drive it because there was. And we looked and we checked, and there was a hole in the radiator hose, so we didn't know. We knew that we should try to go back into Big Basin and get help, so we waited, and this man stopped, and he took us all in there, and we went and told the ranger what had happened, and he came, and they patched the hose up with some rubberized tape, and he filled the car with water again, so we were able to make it into Hayward like that, and then Daddy and Dave put a new hose on. It was just a little, Neil forgot his comfort sheet, and that's the sheet he sleeps with every night. If he doesn't have it, he can't sleep. What is he going to do? I'm going to have to... I'll have to send that airmail special delivery to him. Yeah. Well, Teresa forgot a few things in Santa Cruz, too, when she was staying with me, and I have to send them so I can send that sheet when I go. Well, let's see what else is new here. I'm working at the hotel for Minna. It's not a whole lot, like it doesn't take a whole lot of time, maybe 1 or 2 days a week, and I clean the hotel for her and do the laundry and whatnot. It gives me some extra money, and it's a help to her because usually she doesn't feel as though she has to stay at the hotel all the time if she has someone to care for it, and it's sort of hard to stay around there, because she can't go out at night and stuff because someone has to be there all the time in case someone comes to, to check into the hotel. So that gives her some freedom anyway. And I'm going to school in Cabrillo, at Cabrillo College, which is a college in Santa Cruz. I'm taking a course in creative writing poetry, and I do that 2 days a week for an hour or so. It's not for a degree or anything, but I'm writing some poetry now, and I needed some brush-up courses, so I felt that it might do me some good, and I think so, because I've been to 2 classes already, and I believe I've learned a lot so far, so that's sort of a good thing for me to be doing, I think. And let's see, what else? I took a test for the county, to be employed at the county of Santa Cruz, or like the county offices. It was sort of a civil service type thing. And we were given a long typing test for about an hour. You had to do all these different things, and this was a typewriter I hadn't used before. It was a Selectric, which is a different type of thing than I had been used to, and whatnot. Anyway, it turned out that I did not pass the test, and there were 1,000 girls that were tested for this thing, so they could be very selective. I think they probably chose the people that just had the, highest typing skills, and a lot of the girls were just out of school and they knew all the way to do it, like they had to set up certain things on typing paper. Hey, this is almost gone. I'm going to close so that Tom can say a few words, and I will hear from you later. Make a tape and send it back so we can all play it, because we enjoy hearing all your voices and stuff. And so, see you later. Goodbye.
Hi, Rich, Merma, Shell, and Janine. This is Dad speaking. You know, it's just about a month since we started to record this when Dave was out here on vacation. I've been after Tom for the longest time to talk a bit and finally got at it. So I'll jabber a while. Things are going much as usual around here. You know, I think we told you we put in a bid on a house. It's going through probate, and it's in Niles. It's about 12 miles from here. It's really part of Fremont. It was incorporated into Fremont some time ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago. It's a little town by itself, actually, though. This place is sort of on the edge of it. In the backyard faces onto a park, and there's a creek about 100 feet from it, and they're widening it out, digging out, making a sort of a reservoir there. So might be a chance to fish there later on. I don't know for sure whether we're going to get it or not. We put a bid in on it, and agent said our bid was the highest. He said we're pretty sure to get it unless somebody went in with a higher bid at the last minute. But well, we got to wait and see. If we do get it, we may not move right away necessarily. We'll wait and see. Because, well, they don't want me to leave where we're at here now, and, well, sometimes work gets me down a bit, but it ain't really too bad. And, well, Ma's got her job here too, and he makes a few bucks at it, and she don't fancy giving that up too much either, I guess. But, well, getting time to retire, I guess, and well, wait and see what develops. May not get the house anyhow. Father Oliveira has been on vacation for a couple of weeks. He went back to Portugal for 3 weeks. Well, he comes back in about another week or so, I guess. And Father John has been over in Yugoslavia all summer. He's coming back soon too. It's a little too much for one priest to take care of. Of course, he has help on the weekends from other priests around. Father Seamus Genovese is the assistant's name. He was just ordained last May. Well, the school is going on much as usual. You know, it started the day after Labor Day, and about the same enrollment, about the same size as last year. Of course, some always move away and some new ones come in, but about the same amount of kids, I guess. And some ornery ones too. One day in the boys' toilet, some joker, he unlocked all the toilet paper and threw it all into the bowls, plugged them all up. Really haven't any too serious vandalism here compared to what they have someplace. None of the kids started anything a fire yet or such things, or not any big damage, just little things. Well, you know, kids are kids. Tom didn't get rid of his old wreck. It's still sitting out. I've been after him to get rid of it, but he's been working on this boat all the time and pays no attention. Well, he's got it advertised in the paper. A couple of guys are going to come and look at it. And, well, there's always a chance he'll sell it, but I doubt. He's asking $550 for it, but I don't think he'll get over $4. That one corner is pretty bad. Either frame is sprung a bit, windshield's broken, you know, and radiator's busted where fan went into it, and fender's entirely gone. Wheel and the part of the frame where the wheel is fastened to it is broken, the A-frame or whatever it is. And well, she don't look so hot. She ain't running order. Well, the motor's all right, the rest of it, but the radiator leaks, you know, and got the wheel on it, and don't even run. That is, can't run it on the road. I do hope he sells it soon. I'm so sick of looking at the whole thing. I've been after him all the time to get it out of there, and he don't seem the least bit interested in it. He's been working on this boat most of the time, one thing or another. He's got the heads off the boat motor now. around the valves, and well, the bottom part of the boat is fiberglass that's coming loose, and he's got to do that over again. And he did fix it several times, and it always keeps it coming loose. When he goes fast in the water, the boat's sort of porpoises, I guess, and when it hits the water, that breaks it loose. It's surprising how hard it hits, I guess. Anyhow, it breaks loose, and then you got to try and fix her some way or other. If and when we move it over to our new place, he wants to park the boat over there because he really ain't got no decent place to park it. At his house, his garage, well, that has been made into a room, and he has to, well, he says he could get it in there, but it's an awful tight fit, just a few inches to spare. So, well, over the place what we might get, there's a large lot with 140 feet deep by, I think, it's 50 feet wide. And the house is built to one edge of it, and there's plenty of room for the double driveway going in. And the sheds, there's a couple sheds there, and big enough for a car or a boat. I guess the camper wouldn't go in and know. The roof is the door's a little too low on them. And there's a tool shed there, and somebody raised chickens there once too, I guess. There's a little chicken coop in the back end. And there's a few English walnut trees, and it's flat ground there, and I don't know how the soil is, but I guess probably it ain't too bad. We'd have a chance to have a pretty good garden there, I think. And the house needs fixing up. It's about the shabbiest looking house in a lot, but if I do get it for what I'm getting it for, $18,250, that's you can't hardly touch anything around here for in line of a house for less than 25. Most of them around 35, 40,000 now. They seem to be going up in price about from 10 to 15% a year. The one where Pat is living. See, that was in '65. I bought that for $16,000, and right now it's worth right around $30,000. So you can see it's been going up close to 15% a year. I don't know where it's going to stop, but got to wait to see. But they still seem to be going up, and the way it is now, there's a high that average working man can't really afford to buy a house. They're priced out of the housing because it just costs too much and interest is so high. This house that I put a bid in on, of course I have to pay all cash for it, but a strange thing about that, the broker said the way they work now, if somebody bid more than me, they would have to bid 10% more in order for them to accept a bid. They wouldn't accept a bid unless it was 10% more than my bid. So, got to wait and see. I hope I get it, but we never know about such things. I got a letter from Terry a couple of days ago. Her car broke down 2-3 weeks ago, I guess. It got awful noisy in the motor when you started up. You afraid to run it. There was still noises. So Gene and his brother, they took it apart, and seems like a valve unhooked. I don't know, it broke the piston or what. She didn't say, but if it fell unhooked and got down the piston, I suppose it broke the piston. Anyhow, they're working on it. It says she's been walking. She says, it's only about 15-minute walk to her work, so that ain't so bad. And, she has to carry her groceries too. But she says, she's been getting by, but she'll be glad to have it again when they get it fixed up. So I suppose they'll get her fixed up sooner or later. She still has that there Ford station wagon. It's a large size motor in there. I don't know, 385 or is it 4? Maybe it's over 4. It's one of the biggest ones. They're supposed to be pretty good motors, but you know, none of them are foolproof, and they just happened that valve unhooked or broke off or something, and something like that happens that you're done driving until it's fixed. Last summer when we were down there, she was thinking about moving across town because it seems Gene is working way on the north side of town. They live sort of on the south side there. But, well, they couldn't find anything suitable for rent. They're paying $330 a month for the apartment where they're at now, and they couldn't find anything suitable in that price range on the north side. It was higher yet, I guess, so they're still living in the same place. But, of course, they can afford rent. She's making about $1,000 a month, I guess, at their hospital, and he gets about twice that where he works. So they shouldn't have any money problems. Of course, they have other problems. They don't get along too good. They have a 4-bedroom apartment. I don't quite figure that. A room for each of the boys, and she has a bedroom, and Gene has a bedroom. That's why they have to pay so much rent, 4-bedroom apartment. But she says they get along better that way, so, well, it's their life, and well, they gotta make the best of it. Our bingo games are still going pretty good. We have usually around 400 people, sometimes a little less than 400. Last Thursday it was about 460, which was about the best we had for some time. One of the fellows that works in the kitchen, he was telling about his fishing trip. He went down to Ensenada, that's in Mexico, you know, on the coast. And some other fellows, they went on a charter boat. They were there 3 days. He said they caught about 100 fish. Well, they caught some bonita, and they also caught barracuda. He said, boy, he says, them fish, they really hit hard. He says, you got to have a good hold to your pole or it'll jerk right out of your hands. Yeah, he said there was... in the 5 of them, they got about 100 fish in the 3 days. And, well, the fish are fair size, not real big ones, but they had them smoked one day. The barracuda says they're real good smoked. Sounds pretty good, the fishing down there. I don't know if I'll ever get down there or not, but it should be interesting if the fellow would. He said they had really a lot of sport with the ocean fish. They bit pretty good. I've been picking some blackberries here right along our drainage ditch. You know, the ditch is right between us and the church, you know. And the blackberries, there's quite a few of them there this year. And they ripen very slowly, though. It's about 6 weeks since I picked the first of them. There's still a lot of green ones on, but they ripen very slowly. And at first I could pick a couple quarts twice a week, but now there's still a lot of green ones on, but I don't know if they're ever going to get ripe or not, but they make real good pie. I also raised quite a few summer squash back in the backyard. I got some along the fence, so about a dozen hills, I guess. And I like them. They're round squash, they're white, and they slice them up, and cut the peel off, and then fry them. Well, they're best in cornflakes. Put them in egg batter first in cornflakes and fry them or bake them. You never get tired of them. I don't. I eat them every day. Something that agrees with me too, because there's so many things I can't eat, you know. But them squash, they sure hit the spot. I'm trying to get Sammy on the act. Sammy, you hungry? Say, are you hungry? Sammy, are you hungry? Still hungry? See? Are you still hungry? Sammy, still hungry? Are you hungry? Sammy, are you still hungry? Yeah, are you still hungry? Say, Sammy, you still hungry? Sneeze. Sneeze. Yeah. Still hungry? Are you still hungry? You still hungry? Are you still hungry? Are you still hungry? Well, had a bit of liver for him. He's still crazy about liver. That's about all he's got to say. When Terry was out here, that's a month or so ago, she noticed that she thought Marge looked a little different. Her hands and her feet seemed a little bigger too, and she told her to go to a doctor, and Marge did, and it seems like there's something wrong with her pituitary gland, and her hands and her feet are growing a bit bigger. It's a very slow process, and her chin is growing a little bit bigger too, I guess. And her doctor has recommended some specialist, and Marge is going over there the 13th. It is something very strange. It happens to very, very few people, but evidently this gland gets out of whack for some reason or other, and her feet's size has increased about a size and a half, and her shoes, I guess, and her hands are a bit bigger too. But it don't make her sick. She feels all right, working, but she thought that was just from work and walking on concrete all the time in there where she works and handing them hot bottles that her hands seem to be getting bigger. But it isn't that, so. Got to wait and see what the doctor's going to do. When you write, maybe you better not mention this in your letter, because Marge always reads your letters too, and maybe she didn't want me to talk about it. I don't know. But, let's see what the doc says and what's going to develop. I don't know. I suppose you've been hearing on the news about Patty Hearst getting caught, because we've always got the news over there just as soon as we had it here. But it's I doubt very much if a jury will ever convict her. Maybe she's guilty, but the juries there'll always be some doubt about it. They've got a whole lot of different charges against her, that's for sure. But in my opinion, I don't think that she will be convicted. But, we just got to wait and see. And those things take a long time and drag out for months and years sometimes. Well, I'll turn the tape recorder over tomorrow. She's got a few things to tell you. So, bye for now.